Hey craft buddies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. You're watching Whiskey and Whit. My name is Whitney and today's video is going to be a fun one and a little bit different than what I normally do. Today we are still talking DIY and home decor, but I'm going to give you a behind the scenes look at what a day looks like here behind the scenes at Whiskey and Whit. I'm going to bring you along on a supply run. Also, I'm going to answer your questions. I asked you guys for questions on Instagram, here on YouTube, and also through my Whiskey Craft Buddy e-newsletter. Everything you guys asked, I said, ask me whatever you want. I got questions, everything from personal, how's family doing, how's my health doing, how's my son doing, all the way through to who inspires me, what do I do with all the stuff after the videos? You know, I share it with you guys. Where does it go? What do I do with it? What are some of my favorite craft tools? There's so many questions, so we're gonna cover them today. So come along with me on a supply run day and I will be answering questions as we go. Okay, so it's 9:15. I'm in my car and I am headed on a supply run, like I mentioned. So I don't do this all the time. I'm gonna try not to hit the garbage can. I've got a little phone holder, so don't worry, I'm being safe. But we're just gonna act like today you guys are on FaceTime with me as I am bopping around. So typically what I like to do is take a couple videos at once, make a supply list, then I figure out what town I'm gonna go to because I don't have any of these stores like in my town that I live in, but I do have them near me. And so today we are gonna hit up, I think, Dollar Tree. I need to go to a Walmart. I need to go to Menards / Home Depot. I got to get some stuff for the boys' Halloween costumes, as well as stuff for my upcoming wood video that'll be coming up next. So lots of stuff today. I also, where else do I need it? I want to go to Hobby Lobby because it's their fabric sale today. So usually I will drop Finn off at school and then I will hustle between the hours of his school because then I got to be back to pick him up. And I get a lot of questions of how do I work during the day? And I have an amazing mom and an amazing mother-in-law who come over usually 3 to 4 days a week and they spend time with Henry so I can get my stuff done, which I am so thankful for. We kind of started this with a mixture of family helping out during COVID when Finn was born and daycares weren't open. And so they are a huge help to me in getting stuff done. So on the days that I have them, I just try to just crank out as much as I possibly can. So then that way I can, you know, just get it done. I also do a lot of editing at night. Sometimes I work on the weekends. It just depends. But the flexibility is nice with 2 young boys. So there's that. That is, some days I don't know how I get it done. Some days I don't get it done. So just know that, you know, the polished thing at the end might not be the whole story, but you guys don't want to watch me struggle each week. So, you know, we do the nice polished videos, but when we do things like this, I like to always keep it 100% with you guys and, you know, be fully transparent that, you know, life isn't all rainbows and sunshine. But the true story, I actually sat down and recorded this video and I missed half the questions. So that's why we're doing it this style, but I'm actually really excited about it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to answer the questions I forgot here in the car, and then you'll also see some shots of me hanging out at my table in my craft room, talking about some crafty related things. So we might bop in between, I might insert some of those. So just FYI, as we're editing, I will cover the questions, but there'll be some from the car, running around, and then some from sitting down. So today we are shopping for an upcoming mystery box, a wood build video, the boys' Halloween costumes. I have most of it, but I need a couple things. And then I also want to check out the fabric sale at Hobby Lobby. I get asked a ton, do I have to go to multiple Dollar Trees? The answer is yes. I only found a couple things. So sometimes you gotta go to a few. Thankfully in this area, there's a couple, so I can go down the street and check out another one. All right, found a couple things, but that was kind of a dud based on what I was hoping for. So up next, I'm trying to think what comes next down the street. It's either Walmart or another Dollar Tree. So the hunt continues. I'm so sad. I am passing by the turn that I would turn to go to Joann's, but it's no longer there. But the storefront is empty and you can still see the little Joann's logo on the side. one of the other questions was, what's your all-time favorite craft store? And it's hard to answer that because it depends on what I'm making, because there's no like holy grail craft store, like you gotta go to multiple ones. I do really like Hobby Lobby because you can get everything from decor to craft supplies to fabric there in one-stop shop. I like Walmart too for that same reason, because they've got the fabric and everything there. But I love a good trip to Home Depot or Menards to get, you know, wood type supplies. So I can't really answer that because the answer is it depends. And I feel like that's such a cop-out, but truly it just depends. I do like Michael's, but it's not my top favorite just because I feel like there's a lot of like rigmarole dancing around to try to get the best deal. You know, I have learned over the years kind of how to do that, but you know, I think the widespread deals are better at Hobby Lobby. If you have one near you. If you only have a Michael's or whatever, you know, then you can kind of make it work. But yes, so I don't have a number one favorite store. I like a few of them. Ooh, they put a Nordstrom rack in over here. Sorry, I digress. It's like squirrel. I don't have time for that today. I'm working, but it is good to know that it's Marshall's. There's a Skechers store, Nordstrom rack, Ulta. Interesting. I'm not a big like fancy makeup person, so I don't go to Ulta a lot. I do a lot of drugstore makeup. All right, here we are at the Michaels. Where do I store all of the stuff that I buy and create? That's a great question. So when we purchased this house, there is a part of the basement that is just storage, and I would share it with you, but it is a disaster right now. Maybe eventually I will share my system down there, but I've got a bunch of tubs organized by season, also like backstock of craft supplies. So like I have it organized by summer and patriotic craft supplies, fall, Halloween, Christmas, and then other, so like spring and St. Patrick's Day. So then when I've got extra stuff like after a season, so now that I'm done doing all of my Halloween and fall stuff, I load it up, take it downstairs, put that away. So then that way I have, you know, the next round up here, because this whole wall over here starts to get busy. If you have not seen my craft room tour and you kind of want to see how I organize things in here, I will link that because I'll take you through the whole process. I did the initial like full room layout last year, and then this year I did like a refresh. So I've got two options for you so you can see everything, details on kind of all what's around me, how I have it set up, how it works for me. So yes, now when it comes to the actual projects and items that I keep, it just depends. So I keep a ton of it. A lot of my house is full of Whiskey and Whit DIYs and things I've purchased, but also I get to gift a lot to family and friends. So recently, this is a great example, I went through and purged a lot of my fall stuff. I didn't get it out last year because I was super pregnant, and I went through, purged everything, and then made a pile of items that there's like nothing wrong with them, but I can't use them anymore and they're taking up a ton of space. I have a full distribution list, everything from my mom, mother-in-law, sisters-in-law, cousins, aunts, all the people. I send pictures and I say, you just let me know what you want. I load it up and then I deliver it to them. Because for me, like once I make something, that it served its purpose for my business, so I can either then use it, or I love when I go to people's houses and they've got my stuff out. Like I love rolling up to my aunt's house and seeing her porch sign. It's something that I made. I love going to my mom's house at Christmas. It's like all stuff that I've made. And so it's kind of a fun way for those items to get more life. Some projects, if I break them down and repurpose them, just so then that way I'm not adding to so much consumerism, as best I can. And then beyond that, if there's, you know, stuff that is older, I will donate locally, or I also try to find, like, when Finn was in a preschool, I had an extra Cricut, I donated that to the teacher. So really, I just try to find ways that those items can still be used and not go to waste, because I do shop a lot, I buy a lot. It's the nature of what I do, so I can keep bringing you guys new ideas, but I also want to be cognizant of, you know, how much I'm buying, how much I can't obviously keep myself. So it's a process, but I think I've really kind of narrowed it down. And I also like to take stuff out when I'm bringing new stuff in. So it's a process, really. I'm not perfect at it, but I try my best. Sure, at this point, you guys are like, holy cow, she's all over the place. Yeah, if you know me in real life, this is how I am. I am all over the place, but you know, it's me. I love all these mini supplies that they have at Michael's. I put these in a memory lantern last year, the train for my grandpa. I've got little doggies. These are cute, and they're on sale right now. Oh my gosh, how cute are these guys? $9 but they're 40% off. Cute, cute, cute. I did want to share what I grabbed in Michael's because it's cute. I got this ribbon. It was 40% off, 20 feet. It's really cute. It's got a little bit of glitter, but I rubbed my finger on it and it doesn't have much fallout, so I'm okay with it. They're not really stationary, but it's the Recollections brand. So I got some small little squares. What are these? 6x6? Yeah, 6x6. I really like this gingerbread. And then the bows caught my eye, but I like all of these. I like getting the little ones because I'm never going to use that much 12x12. So, and they were $6.99 but 40% off. And then these were all $4.99. So I love these stickers. I found them maybe 2 years ago and I love them from Michael's. They are these little like die cut. These are like little die cut embellishments, but there's like bows and Merry and Bright and so cute. These kind of match the little cards that I shared in my Christmas haul. So I'm excited about these. And then these are like vintage. You can see what's on the back. And then there's also some of these gingerbread embellishments that are so cute. And then I also grabbed these sticker books in the gingerbread and like the Santa vintage. So there's like a ton of, like this would be cute for a planner, but I got them to put on Christmas cards. Look how cute the little monkeys are. So yeah, these were $4.99. All those were $5, 40% off. So like $2.99. Teresa asked, I wonder, how do you get your creative ideas? So this is a good question. I am always taking pictures of things when I'm out and about, or writing stuff down if I get ideas. So if I see a quote that I want to put on a sign, if I want to see a print that I want to try to recreate, if I see something on Pottery Barn's website that would make a great dupe, I'm constantly adding things to my notes app. So then when it comes time to kind of section them into videos, say I'm doing a fabric video or a wood video, I can kind of pull from that. I love to scroll Pinterest endlessly and kind of see what's out there. And then also a lot of times it's out of necessity where I see something and it's way too expensive and I want to make it for myself and save money. So really I get my ideas from a ton of different places. There's not just one place. And I also had some folks in here ask who inspires me, who do I watch? And I watch some YouTube, but I don't watch a ton of YouTube in my specific niche. And here's why. I don't want to be in a situation where I feel like I am being influenced from other creators. I want to kind of stay in my own lane. And so while I will watch videos as they pop up, I am not a huge avid DIY and craft YouTube consumer. And that's just because also sometimes I just need a mental break from what I do every day. I will see reels and stuff on like TikTok and Instagram, and like I said, I will watch some YouTube, but a lot of times if I'm watching YouTube videos, it's my friends because I want to support them. I want to see what they're making, but I don't want that to creep in to my frame of consciousness. I want to be making things that I want to make and not feel like I'm chasing what other people are doing, if that makes sense. That's something that's really helped my mental health. Being a creator is trying my best to stay in my own lane and trying not to compare what other people are doing. Right now, the biggest thing that I am loving is getting into sewing videos. So many of you guys asked how that's going. I am loving sewing. I have been doing it on the side. I grabbed some projects here because so many of you asked about it. I just finished this last night. I made a quilted witch hat. How fun is this? I'm in an awkward pose, but I love how I can learn and have a hobby that is not something that I have to record. I love my job. I love what I do, but especially with all of the trials and tribulations of this past year that has went on with our family, I just have needed an outlet outside of something that I was going to film to share. So I've made like a little white pouch for Henry. It's got like a little area we can put diapers. I've made these little containers. They hold Kleenexes. little corner bookmarks. I just made that Halloween one. I love this. This fits my iPad and I made it out of Haunted Mansion material. It's quilted. I also made this to hold, it's like a panel. I quilted it with a book. So I've been making a ton of different things and that has just been super, super nice. One of the questions I got asked is, after everything that we went through with Henry and my health this year, would I consider having more kids? So the answer is no, but it's not because of what happened this year. The answer is because we've always wanted 2 kids. Alex has 1 brother, I have 1 brother, and that's just a good dynamic for our family. So yes, I am done with the pregnancy phase. I'm not one of those people that loved being pregnant. I was sick, I was puffy, my hips hurt. It was just like not the most fun. So yeah, I am now in my mom era. I just recently weaned from pumping for Henry too. And that has just been just another weight kind of off my back. I wanted to do it as long as I could, but I got a terrible clog, and if you have ever experienced those, it gives you flu-like symptoms. I thought I might have had mastitis, but I lucked out I did not. It just took forever for me to take care of that clog. So it was just kind of one of those things where I was like, all right, I'm ready. I got this one from Chris W. Does Finn ask to craft with you? What does he like to do crafty? So yes, it depends on what's going on. He's really gotten more into like painting and coloring and things like that. He also loves that I have so many different colors of yarn because he can hook together his trains and do all that stuff. So not like super crafty, but we are going to DIY his Halloween costume, so stay tuned for that. I'll share it when it's done, but it's something super niche that he wanted, so we're going to make it. We're going to do it this weekend. It's going to be great. So that kind of stuff he loves to do with me, and I'm just thankful. It's a lot of fun when he wants to do things like that with me. He also really likes to cut flowers and do like arranging them, so that's not necessarily crafting, but I like to do that with him as well. Whenever I ask for questions, one of the top things always is, how did you start your channel? What advice do you have for people? And I think some of it comes from just genuine curiosity, because what I do is not quote unquote a normal job or something that, you know, people necessarily understand. It's not like I go to a corporate job and they give me a paycheck, which is good and bad in some ways. But I also think some of it too is a lot of people have seen how the flexibility for this type of job is great. You can spend more time with your kids. And so I understand the questions. I think first and foremost, you have to start doing this just for funsies, because you're not going to one day be like, I'm going to make videos and make money. So I needed to get to, I'm trying to remember if when I started, if I had to get to, so I posted like 3 videos, maybe 4 videos in 2015. That was before I got engaged. I wanted to just try and see if I could do the YouTube thing. It was so hard time-wise to do stuff with my corporate job, so I just didn't do that. I just stopped in 2015. But during that little amount of time, I got enough watch time and I got enough subscribers so that I could be monetized. So YouTube, if you don't understand, like, I could talk about this for days. And so if you guys want more, maybe I'll do a blog post or something about, because I get this question all the time, and you know, there are channels that are much, ooh, it's raining. Holy, okay. Well, hopefully it won't be too loud here, but there are channels dedicated to just helping creators grow and create. So I will link a couple of those down below that I like. But I would say from my personal experience, I feel like I lucked out in the sense that I went to school for broadcast communications. So I learned how to write scripts and how to be on camera and how to do footage and all of that. And not that you can't learn, but I feel like I did have a leg up because I went to school for that. I double majored, and I also have a degree in interactive media studies, which is, how do I explain it? It probably would be called like digital media now, but in 2013 when I graduated, that's what it was called. And so I did like Photoshop and Illustrator and different like editing software. So that made it a lot easier to make that change. So that's the first thing. So I'm fully transparent with that. That is a skill that I learned in school and am like formally trained in that kind of stuff. But a lot of the ins and outs, I had to just kind of learn on my own. And I think, yes, you can have somebody tell you these things, but a lot of the time, if you can learn on your own, you will learn a lot quicker. And I think a lot of times, like, learning through some struggle and failure is good. At least it was for me. So I would recommend just getting started and figuring out what makes you you. You're not going to know that right off the bat, but as you start doing stuff, like for example, when I first started, I thought every video had to be Dollar Tree DIYs, and I was consistently chasing what everybody else was doing. Come to find out, I found my success when I found my own lane. I did what I liked. I listened to my audience, and I make stuff that I think you guys actually want to watch, because that's the whole point. Part of it has got to be fun for me because I'll get burnt out if not. But the other part is I've got to put out stuff that you guys want to watch, because that's the nature of what I do. So I would say just get started. If you need help with editing and stuff like that, like this Q&A video, I can't like run through all of that. But I would say I got iMovie. I used that for years. You can use your phone. I got a nice camera from my brother and sister-in-law when we got married, so I started using that. But iPhones, that's what I'm filming on today. Just I got my phone in my little phone holder. So I would say my best advice is just get started, find what makes you you, and do it because you want to initially, not because you need it to make money, because the money will come eventually, but it's not something that is going to happen right off the bat. You're going to have to, seed fund your items. You're going to have to, basically that just means you're going to have to go out and get your stuff. If you need craft supplies, like that's on you. But then when you start making money and it's a business, it can then be a write-off, but it's not something that's going to happen right away. So don't compare. I've been doing this, like I said, I started in 2015, but for real 2017. So I've been doing this for, I would say, almost 8 years. And so it was fall of 2017. So yeah, 8 years. So don't compare like where somebody is now. I also started pre-pandemic. Post-pandemic, getting into it is kind of a whole different thing. So all of that's to say, it's definitely doable. And I'm definitely open to helping other folks grow, but there's not like a magic bullet I can give you. It's just start researching, dig in, figure out what is going to make you happy, and know that it's a long game. So it's a marathon, not a sprint. Had to make a quick pit stop to Boston's. If you're in the Chicagoland area, Sebastian loves these treats. So I had to get him some puppy kisses while I was over here because we were out. Got some Halloween ones. And I got him some like birthday ones because Finn likes to give him blue ones. He blows through the blue ones and then it's like, we need more treats. And it's like, no, we have yellow and brown and all these other colors. So should be stocked up through the holidays. So my mom watched my haul and told me that she wanted this for her house and told me that she wanted the battery operated lights. So we're gonna get these for her. I like to do this for my mom and my mother-in-law, like if they mention that they want something or if I see something, just because they help me out so much. Okay, where are they? Where are the winners? Here we go. Warm white, warm white. There we go. Walmart's got to have some of the best, like wrapping. Like, look at these. Like, if you're not into colorful Christmas, then these won't be there. But look how cute these are. They even have like this one, no glitter, $1.84. This one's so pretty too. Oh my gosh, but look at these down here. These weren't out when I was here to do my haul, so I couldn't show you guys, but like this one's gorgeous. $1.84. Especially with Dollar Tree prices going up. Check your Walmart, because these, even at $1.84, they're so much better quality. The artwork's better. Win. Bow ribbon. It's only $2.86 for 15 feet. That one's cute too. They have more at this Walmart than they had at the one where I did my haul. Check different stores, you guys, because you can find different goodies. If you've got time. I know not everybody has time to run around, but if you do, check the different stores. Just got done at Walmart. I have looked at all of their Christmas stuff, so I did a good job. Didn't buy a bunch of extra stuff I didn't need. I grabbed those 2 Christmas things for my mom. If you want to see Walmart's Christmas stuff and what I recommend buying, check out my last video because I did all of that there. Now we're going to head across the main drag here to go to Home Depot. I have to grab a big moving box because I'm turning our wagon into a fishing boat for Henry's costume, and we don't have one the right size to use. And Home Depot moving boxes are just primo for using for like DIYs. That's how I made my big Mack truck. That's how I made the big train for Finn's birthday. So let's actually, where we are, we're gonna hit the second Dollar Tree first. So it goes on in my brain when I'm shopping. Dollar Tree, then we're gonna hit the Home Depot. So we'll check those two things off. This one's a lot better stocked than the other one, so that's why I go to a few different ones. These Santa tins are very cute. I might grab one for Finn's teacher. Christina, who is an email craft buddy, said, do you sell your crafts at any craft sales or online? If so, can you give best suggestions on how to be successful selling them? Also, thanks for all your videos. I've learned so much watching them. Well, thank you, Christina. I am so glad to hear that. So I've only done one craft show in the entirety of my business, and it was so much work. So if you do vendor shows, kudos to you. Especially when you do them like every weekend in and out, it is so much work. However, if you do have a good setup, then you can potentially make a good amount of money. I would say if I was going to do it, I would do more online sales, especially if you've got kids and you don't want to have to be at those shows. A lot of times those are, hit or miss. But like Facebook groups, or if you have like friends or if you are in like the PTO, or if you've got like school-based stuff, like spirit wear, you can go that route. So I don't know that I am 100% the best person to give you like full-on selling advice. But what I will say works well is think about stuff you would buy. Think about items that you're creating that are going to last for folks, so making sure that things are going to be permanent and they're not going to, if you're doing cups or whatever, they're not going to wash off right away. And then also just really keep an eye on the trends online. You can do a lot of research on what boutiques are selling or what is going viral online so that you can kind of, make your own version of it. And then also make sure that you're aware of copyright laws, because I've heard more and more folks are kind of they're coming after them for using things like Disney, Taylor Swift, all that to sell. So make sure you are well aware of that. That is one piece of advice that I can definitely share. So just keep that in mind so you're not messing around with copyright, because 9 times out of 10 you may be fine, but also you don't want you to be the one that they see and then you get in trouble for that. So just keep that in mind. We got Christmas out at Home Depot. Bunch of lights, bunch of trees. Mickey and Minnie animatronics. Oh, they have a Goofy this year. Look at this. $200. Same with these. Goofy's bigger than these two. Cute. This is so cute. You guys know my affinity for bows. We're gonna get that. I bought this last year and it looks so good on presents, so I'll be using that again this year. I always have to look at the ornaments just in case there's one that I've missed prior. And they have so many options. These are so pretty, but they're glass. They would not survive at my house, but they're so pretty. Got some more of the little houses that I put in my haul. Oh, cute. Here's one. Well, this is typical Whitney fashion. I was about to finish getting the footage of me getting the fabric in Hobby Lobby and my phone died because I use my phone for all the things. The battery is cached. I am due for a new one and not soon. So forgot my portable battery pack, which I usually always have. So I got my fabric, I got what I needed there. And then I realized to go to Menards to get my wood, I have 2 car seats in the back and I can't put the seat down. So we're just gonna go get what we can get at Menards and then we'll be home. It's 12:32, so I'm not gonna hit my 1 o'clock deadline, but I'm gonna boogie in Menards. So here we go. The weather today is just absolutely nuts. It was sunny, now it's gross and windy. I got a good amount of questions about personal things, so I thought this would be a really good format to just kind of talk about it instead of having to respond a bunch of times. So the last couple weeks I haven't posted content, and that is because, full transparency, my son Henry, who's 10 months old now, was in the hospital. So if you guys remember back in February, I kind of had a maternity leave and then I had an extended leave from posting videos because he was inpatient downtown Chicago at Lurie's for 2 weeks. We found a blockage. Long story short, you can go watch that video if you want to see that full update of kind of, I did that then saying where I have been. But basically, like, things have been going really well overall. Like, he has no more dietary restrictions. His kidneys are working great. But because he did have that kidney trauma, quote unquote, when he gets an infection, we have to go in and he has to have, specific antibiotics that are via IV. So when he got that infection, we were there from Monday night to Thursday night. So then that way he could get the medicine that he needed, and then they could test the infection to know what bacteria it was to send us home on the right medication. So overall, he's doing better, and I'm really thankful that, it really, in the grand schemes of the health things that he's had, it was a setback, I guess, but not, a huge thing. In the grand scheme of everything we've went through, he had the surgery and everything. So yes, thankful that he is doing much better. They got an oral antibiotic for him that allowed us to come home, because trying to contain a then 9-month-old, now 10-month-old in a hospital room who feels fine other than needs to be there for every 24 hours to get an infusion for 30 minutes and have him sleep and get his vitals in the middle of the night. It was, it was difficult to keep him entertained. So I am really glad that we're home, and overall, where we were and where we are now, he is doing so much better. So really thankful for that. Thank you for all of the well wishes. And it's just something that we'll have to keep an eye on for him his whole life. His kidneys are doing great right now, but it's something that we want to be careful of. I'm really hoping the rest of this year we can get the last few things kind of ironed out with his health. So then it's, the goal is to get him to be where we just go once a year to the nephrology team and the urology team, and they just say, labs look great, we'll see you next year. I mean, that is the ultimate goal. So I'm hoping that we, get there this year, and 2026 onward and upward. I also got questions about my health, and thankfully, since my postpartum preeclampsia scare, which was like, looking back on it now and also hearing other people's stories, like, could have been way worse than it was. Like, it was not easy, but it definitely could have been way worse than it was. After I took blood pressure medicine for 3-4 weeks, they took my blood pressures. That was good. And then every time I've had follow-ups since then, everything's been good. So fingers crossed, we'll stay on that. Now, my mental health, on the other hand, has been kind of all over the place. I have been super transparent with you guys for years now, starting with my first son with the postpartum depression and anxiety. Now, I don't know that it's postpartum. I think it's just overall just learning how to deal with things, especially between my health scare and all the stuff with Henry. I have a ton of health-based anxiety. And so, when he doesn't feel good or he's just teething and cranky, I spiral. And so after Henry got out of the hospital in February, I shared that I got put on a medication for anxiety. And honestly, that has been a godsend. So I am very thankful for that. It's just kind of helped level me out so that everything is not a full-on spiral. I have better days than others, but that's something that I'm working to kind of deal with behind the scenes. So super thankful for my care team that listened to me, got me the help that I need. And, you know, I hope that I don't have to be on it forever, but, you know, we'll see. I just, right now, I definitely, I need it. And, you know, a while ago, that wouldn't be something that I would say, but I think it's really important that we talk about mental health things just like we do other health things, because, you know, this medication, like, I'm not a doctor, I'm not telling you to get on medication, but definitely it was something that I was like, I don't want to do that, I'll just do therapy. But with everything that's happened in this past year, I needed it, and it has been helpful for me. So we'll leave that at that, but I did want to be transparent with you guys, because I've had so many people tell me that you appreciate that I share. And I think with my platform, you know, and folks that watch my content, I think I would be doing a disservice if I didn't share that. So, you know, I'm getting braver and braver sharing more of that. So thank you for the love and support there, because that has made it a lot easier for me to share. It's 1:18, so not right on what I planned to do, but, you know, that's all right. I got everything I needed to get today. I've got a couple hours until I got to go pick Finn up. So I'm going to go home and I'm going to eat some lunch and see if I can get anything else done. And then tomorrow will be work day on the wood projects. I'll also probably edit this video so you guys can see it on Thursday, and we'll do it all over again. So I don't have a typical day. Each day is different, especially with ebbs and flows with the boys' schedule. Sometimes I'm working more at night. Sometimes I'm getting up before they get up. I am so incredibly grateful for all of my craft buddies. By watching this video, you're supporting me. By purchasing any items through my affiliate links, you are supporting me. By sending me messages, you are supporting me. I am so thankful for you guys. I know I say that a lot, but I truly am. So thank you for taking time out of your day to spend it with me here on my channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you like it. I can also do more like this, and keep your eyes peeled, because coming up, we've got wood projects. We've got the mystery box challenge. I've got some fabric DIYs. Let me know if you want to see Cricut DIYs for Christmas. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see. Dupes are coming up. So many fun things planned. So I can't wait to share them with you. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for being a craft buddy. Thanks so much for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.